Welcome to the Wolf's Watch. Thank you for joining the conversation. Today, I want to ask you, are you just sucking the energy out of your team's environment, out of their daily work, and just not contributing to them continuing to feel like they're, making progress, that they're doing something worthwhile, that they are going home, creating an environment where they go home at the end of the day and maybe they're exhausted. Maybe they're working from home and they're still tired. It's the end of the day, yet feeling energized. You've experienced that, haven't you? The difference between having that kind of soul sucking day where you're just like, oh man, you're exhausted, you're spent, you're physically spent, you are emotionally burnt, and you are spiritually drained and just completely disconnected, as opposed to having put in a hard day's work, having achieved something great with your team, shared in that, reveled in that, high-fived each other on the way out the door, gone home, and just felt like you are done for the day, but you are looking forward to getting rested and, getting up and doing it again, or at least sharing the experience, with friends and family when you get home and go, man, that was just a major achievement. You see that perhaps in sports, and you may have experienced that in sports, maybe not so much in the workplace, but in sport, in sports where you're on the field, you've been training hard, you're ready, your team takes the field, and you look at each other and we're going to win this. And after a hard fought game, you do. At the final score is your team wins, and it's a great feeling. Yeah, you're exhausted, maybe even a little bit bruised, but by gosh, that's an awesome feeling, isn't it? Well, hey, Ernest, thanks for joining us. Glad you're here. Never get burnt out when I'm listening to you. Oh, man, thank you so much. Now, see, now you give me a reputation I got to live up to. I'm going to have to raise my, got to keep bringing a higher level game, which is about mastery, right? Getting a little bit better all the time. And your feedback helps. As you're watching this, your feedback helps. Ernest, thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it. And here's something I want to share with you. We're doing a lot of stuff virtually these days because of the Great Shutdown. And that puts people in chairs and not so much being able to communicate with full body language. And at times when if you're watching a series regularly, at times I'm seated. There's sometimes when I'm up and I'm working on being able to set up more consistently so I can be up and moving around, because it just pains me to be tied to a chair. Now, there's a way to bring energy to your team, to rally them, and a way not to do it. And I wanted to share something with you from a presentation that I did, and see if this perhaps helps illustrate the point. Watch with me. Oh. Okay, as I like to say, laugh with me, laugh at me, just laugh and come along for the ride and learn something along the way. So here it started out with a presentation that with a room that was cold. It was so cold. There were two of us presenting. I was the first up, and it was, I was honestly sitting on, okay, what's this going to be all about? And as you can tell, it was a women's group. So there's kind of like, okay, who's this balding, overweight, aging guy? What's he going to bring? And it's like, how do we bring energy into the room? How to create energy in that environment in a way that just, so now they're on edge, right? It's going, it's hopping, right? The audience is coming along with us. Their minds are open. They're in a different state, and they have fun with it. So that was an innovation there. It was it was like, let's cheer, let's rally on. Let me be your cheerleader to kick this thing off and get it going. Are you doing that for your team? Are you willing to stretch out of your comfort zone? That was very uncomfortable for me because, yeah, I am a recovering engineer, and to go big in front of an audience like that with, with lots of emotion and come on, and play a different role, step into a faculty role, as we call it in our experiential training activities, it is a huge stretch. Do you do that? Do you train that? Outside, do you train bigger? Do you knock the microphone out of the way so you can create more space and train bigger so that when you're in front of your team or an audience, virtually or live, you can bring more energy? Because even if you are not going that big, when you are talking with people on the other side of the room, the other side of the camera, that energy still radiates off of you if you have drilled it, if you have gone bigger so you can bring that energy in and fill up the space. It's a lot harder in virtual meetings. Now you have a need to fill unknown space. And that can be very difficult. Okay. That's a new one to add to the Great Depression. Yeah, the Great Recession, right? The Great Shutdown. It very much is, and it's having the same kind of effects as the Great Depression and the Great Recession on a lot of people. But do we stay in that? Do we stay in the Great Depression? Do we stay in the Great Recession? Do we stay stuck in the Great Shutdown, or do we bring that kind of energy? Right? If nothing else, if you've got that going on in the back of your mind as you're talking to people, it'll show in your eyes. The energy comes across. You're bringing more to to the table, to the energetically to the people that you're talking to. It helps with that connection. Oh my gosh, we're honored to have DK in the house. DK, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being part of the conversation. So think about that. Is this the kind, as the engineer looks for the on switch once again, is this the kind of environment you're creating at the beginning of what you're doing, so that you set the temperature, the tone, the emotion, so people can see that you're having fun. You intend for them to have fun, even though it's hard work that you're all engaged in, so that they can hear the tonality, they can hear the message that you're bringing them. And, where it's really obvious, you pull them in and engage them in a way that they really feel that, hey, you know what? This is going to be hard work. We're still going to have fun. It's still going to connect, that you care about what's going on with them and that they enjoy the journey. Spend so much time working. Don't you want to enjoy the journey? Don't you want your team to enjoy the journey? So just a quick thought for you. There's an old video clip that I stumbled across and I wanted to share that with you because it was one of those times where I was really very nervous. I was scared doing that. I thought, here I am in front of this woman. We had drilled it, we'd trained it and gone really big with it. I'm thinking, this is in front of a women's group. I'm just going to do nothing but offend the heck out of them by bringing. And you know what? It worked because I was having fun. I was making fun of myself. I was making fun of the presentation that I was about to be part of. And as I like to say, laugh with me, laugh at me, just laugh and come along for the ride. We're going to learn together. And that was exactly what happened. It ended up being a great presentation, a great evening of working hard and enjoying the journey to get the results that they needed from what we were doing in terms of the work together. So how are you being a cheerleader for your team? What are you doing as part of your personal training, increasing your mastery? Who do you go to? Who do you ask for help to go bigger in that? Who are your peers? Who are your mentors and coaches that help you train bigger and be able to take more to the table when it's time to hold a virtual meeting? So you can bring that energy to the camera and to the other side of the camera to connect with people, to not just be sitting in a chair and having fun. Or really, we're having lots of fun. I really care. That's not convincing. If you come and be on, be energized, it'll captivate people and it'll make your presentation so much more impactful and connecting so much more. And that's the key. Being able to connect so it's congruent. They see what they hear, what they feel when you talk to your team. Ernest, used to have my audio text. Oh yeah, Jump by Van Halen. That is a great song for cranking it up. Turning the temperature up in the room, in the virtual room as you're going. That is a great idea. Thank you for sharing that. So think about that. Do you have ways you can do that? You're playing music in the background or at some, certain points? Use of music is a huge impact. See it in the movies, all the time. You're watching a scene. Sometimes you may not even notice there's music going in the background, and you see a movie for second, third time if it's a really good movie, and go, wow, I had never noticed that audio track. And it affects the emotional part, the connection, and the pacing. So just wanted to share that with you. Be the cheerleader, bring the energy, get out of your comfort zone, practice getting out of your comfort zone so that you've got a bigger zone to operate in, not just being connected to the little window that they're seeing as you're talking with them virtually. It takes a lot more energy in some ways to be able to communicate effectively and to play big on camera, so you can go outside that and have your team engaged, have the people you're talking with in virtual meetings engaged. So as always, if you like what you're hearing, enjoying, learning something from what you're seeing, click the like button, to like our Facebook page if you're watching this on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're catching this on YouTube. And I will see you on the trail. Oh, wait a minute. One more comment. Ernest, what we got? You do have to make, that you don't want to. Oh, yeah, right. Got to be careful with whose audio that you're using. Always do it with integrity. Make sure you got the rights to use the music. Absolutely. That's an important point. Thank you. Thank you, Ernest. So as always, glad you're part of the conversation. Ernest, DK, it's a special treat having you both here today, and I will see you on the trail.